So your business is growing. What next? Here's the important question. How does CPG brands expand into new market? Well, that's what we're going to discuss today. How does your CPG brand expand into new markets? Of course, expanding into new markets is a huge step for any consumer packaged goods, aka CPG brand, whether it's moving from regionals to nationals, launching in a new retail chain, or even expanding internationally. There's a lot to consider when taking on something new. And like usual, I'm going to break it down. And of course, since we're teaching, we always use it in steps. So be on the lookout for that like always. So breaking into new markets, there's a lot. So let's dive in. Number one, you got to research and validate. Always research and validate. Market research, reports, focus group, competitive analysis. Before entering a new market, your brand needs to validate demand. Expanding too fast without understanding the market can lead to failure, or going into a market where you don't have a demand can equal failure. So when you do demand, people have to actually look for things like, what's the competition in the area? Who are the biggest brands in this space? And what makes them successful in this region, city, or area? Understanding the consumer spending habits. Do customers in this market have the budget for the product? Do they have the extra spending for the product? Example, so you got a snack brand and you're expanding to Europe. You need to check, are the flavors appealing? Is the customer willing to pay the same price? Are there other existing brands dominating the space in Europe? Or is you just going there and you hope things are going to work out? Many brands test the water with small scale launches, selling online first or entering a few select stores before going all in, and it helps out when you have that opportunity. Number two, choosing the right expansion strategy. You got to have a strategy for this whole expansion, whether it be online, brand partnerships, retailer distribution, franchise models. There are so many different ways brands expand into new markets, that the strategy can be created. So it all depends on factors like your budget, risk tolerance, and how fast you want to scale going into this new market. Some common strategies may include direct to consumer. First, many brands test out a new market by launching through their website or e-commerce to see if that market in that area wants to buy, or going on Amazon first before going into retail. This allows them to get data at a lower price, low overhead, and see if there's demand, and also get customer feedback before going to a larger scale distribution to be in that location or being in that city. Retail partnerships. Brands partner with major retailers to enter a new market, but I'll break it down for you. An example. Say your brand is launching in the US. You might want to start off with Walmart or Whole Foods to gain credibility before expanding further, and then you're able to see how that works and then go from there. There's also distribution models where you can work with a distributor who already has retail connection, and they can see about bringing your product in on the back end when it comes to other expansion like C-stores, smaller mom and pop stores, and just navigating the regulations and understanding of what it takes. And then you also have to think about local manufacturing or licensing. Do you need another co-packer wherever you're going to be going to? Are you going to be having the same amount of time when it comes to shipping and being able to deliver on your products when you go into these new regions? Number three, pricing and proposition. For a new market, you want to always keep all your pricing the same. So you got to make sure your pricing and where you're located now will be able to be the same pricing over there. You try to, but it all depends on where the area is. The same pricing in Texas won't be the same pricing in New York due to the cost of living, due to the cost of how things are run, due to the cost of how much stuff is needed, how much stuff is cost. The cost would be different. 2 for $5 down here might be a 2 for $7 in New York. You have to think about those things when you're branching into a new area, along with shipping, materials, distributors, working with local businesses, buying habit. Are customers willing to pay more for your product? Do you have a base that wants to pay that? Or is the competition so steep that they'll be like, I'll just go with what I already know instead of having to worry about this new competitor that's coming to the lane that I don't know? For example, when Red Bull first launched in the US, it positioned itself as a premium energy drink. And even though competitors were cheaper, the strategy worked. It created exclusivity and demand. You have to ask yourself when you're expanding and going into all these different regions, how do you want to be labeled? How do you want to be looked at? Do you want to be looked at as a premium, or do you want to be looked at, hey, I'm the type of brand that's affordable for everybody? And if you're affordable for everybody, then your prices have to be lowered, and you have to make sure that a 2 for $5 in Texas works for a 2 for $5 in New York. Number four, marketing and brand awareness. Of course, marketing and brand awareness always is going to be needed. Local advertising, sampling, demos, using influencers, creating a cause and demand in that area is something that you want. You want people in that area to be seeing the local influencers. You want people there in that area to be seeing social media marketing ads, or seeing other brands or influencers using your product and telling people to go to the store to buy the product or telling people to get online and buy that product, because this is especially effective when it comes to like food, beverage, and beauty brands. Retail promotions, samplings. If you're in the store, using in-store promotions, coupons, product sampling, helping to drive trial and adaptive mindset to people so they can have an adoption to go into the store to buy you. But if you're not in the store, then you want to push them to go online so that they can go ahead and buy it. And you want to have trusted influencers in that new area that's going to be pushing the message for them to go buy so that they can get that up so you can see if there's a demand there. There's so many different things that you have to think about when you're expanding into a new area, a new region. When you're expanding from Texas to New York, you got to think about prices, shipping, margins, distributors, all type of things. If you're expanding from the States to overseas, you got to think about all that. Number 5, supply chain and logistics. Like I said before, you have to ask yourself, who's going to be handling the shipping? How are you going to be handling distribution? It also deals with understanding how your co-packers are going to be able to meet deadlines for bringing it into that new area. If you're used to packing it in Texas, is it going to be able to get to New York in 3 to 4 days to be able to be on the shelf or to be able to be in that store where you need to be? Or do you need to find another co-packer up there that be able to save gas, shipping, and all these other things? And that will require you to have another warehouse and another co-packer and another 3PL, depending on what it is. There's so many things that go into when you start expanding into a new region or you start expanding into new places in the States. And of course, if you're expanding overseas, then you already know this goes into it. And then also understanding your packaging, your labeling, your ingredients, because overseas they might not allow you to have certain ingredients over there. So you have to change them up and make sure you're following all the rules and guidelines and procedures that they have. Just know and just remember, when going into a new market, it takes strategy, research, execution. And if you're launching your own CPG brand and you're thinking about expansion, focus on validating demand with research, small scale testing, and just making sure that it's there. Choosing the right expansion strategy, whether it be D2C, retail, distribution, or a local partnership. And then also adjusting pricing and positioning for the new market. Like I said, 2 for $5 in Texas won't work in New York. It has to be 2 for $7. And invest in local marketing, using influencers, awareness, and setting up a strong supply chain and logistics plan would be very vital, because you don't want to keep using the same people you have, because if you're making it in Texas, shipping to New York, it's going to be very costly. Or if you're making it in California and you're shipping to New York, or you're making it in New York and you're shipping to Arizona or anywhere south or to the west, it's going to be costly. So these are just things that you have to think about when you're creating your brand, when you're thinking about your brand, or you want to expand your. In the beginning, if it's me and you're like, hey Eric, what would you do? What would you do, Eric? If I'm looking to expand and I'm like, hey, I'm online and I want to see about getting into, let's just say the Arizona market, or let's just say the Denver market, I would go out and find about 25, 30 influencers in that Denver city or around that area that have a great strong following, give them my product or pay for promotion and see what they can do to drive people to the website. Put them on a referral plan, whatever they bring in, whatever they drive, they'll get a percentage, and see if they can get that Denver area or that Arizona area, Tempe, Phoenix, whatever area to start buying. And once that area starts buying and we have another hub there, then I will start spending more money to get more influencers and more people, so that not only do my home location have a lot of buys online, that location have a lot of buys. And I keep washing, repeating in different areas. And then when it's time for me to go into retail, I would know exactly where to go. We need to start off in my home area, Denver, Phoenix, and whatever area that I've already spent all this time growing little hubs, like little shipping hubs. I've grown little hubs of where people are going to purchase my product because they've seen us online. We've run an ad, we've run geo ads, we've used influencers and all those things, so that when it is time to go into retail, we know these are the cities that we want to go to, and we're not just closing our eyes and just pointing somewhere where we want to go. We'll actually have data research of all the people who purchase online from us, so that we'll be able to let them know, like, hey, we're coming into the city, hey, we're coming into this store, we're coming into this Whole Foods, we're coming into this beauty supply place, Sephora, wherever. Look out for us. So if you want to buy online, you can, but if you also want to go in the store, you have the option as well too. So you have to build up your customer base, build up your community before you're able to expand and all that. Because if you just get out there and be like, hey, your first deal, you're at Walmart and you haven't validated your idea, you haven't created a community, and they're like, all right, we're going to put you in 1,000 stores from Florida to Colorado to all these different spots, Arizona to Pennsylvania, and you don't have any customer base out there, how are you supposed to drive sales? You're going to have to hire people to do demos in those areas so that you can drive sales so that you can get people to go buy, so you can get people to try it. But if you want to save that money buying demos or save that money shipping product all over the place that you don't know what's going to happen and paying slotting fees, you can start on D2C, build up your area, then build up another area, then another area, and slowly have a pipeline of areas that you know do well, because you've already got the influencers, you've already got the emails, you've already seen the data, you've already seen the numbers, and this will help you out in so many ways when it comes to saving money and knowing exactly where you need to be when it comes to market expansion. Now, if you start expanding online, this is the same thing applies. You expand to Europe, you want to do a small scale, see if people are buying online from Europe, and then maybe go into a small store and then see how it goes from there. Not going fully all the way in, but just getting a little peek to see if it works out. And then from there in the data information, you can kind of decide. Or maybe some people have the option for people in Europe to buy because they use a 3PL that's in Europe and they ship the product over there. And when they order from, they have a different website for like Europe, and they go there and they order, and the 3PL just ships it to them that's already in Europe. So they don't even have to worry about shipping from America. They be in Europe already, shipping from the Europe warehouse. And then from there, before they even go into a store in Europe or anything else like that, they're able to take the data from their website that's basically focused on Europe and look at the 3PL data to know like these certain areas in Europe do well, these certain cities do well, this is where we need to go, this is where we need to create our hubs, and constantly go from there. It's a building process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a get rich. It is for a long time, not a short time, as I like to say. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them below. Like I said, we're all about education here. We're all about teaching. We're all about learning. We're all about going back and forth, having great conversation, dialogue, and discussing what has worked for you when it comes to expansion, what has worked for others. I'm telling you experiences from things that I've experienced and things I've seen from working at different startups on how we were able to grow by focusing on these points I was giving you. And then other startups I worked at where we didn't do these and it was a complete failure. We wasted a lot of money. I've also been there for that as well too. Please make sure you like and subscribe below. Please share this video with anybody you know that's looking to get into CPG, wants to start on a business, or just wants to learn more about it. And lastly, this has been another CPG one-on-one with Eric, and thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you for the next videos.